Gaffer, the last we heard from you was on the pitch at Hampden Park after Celtic became treble winners and invincibles. You spoke then about needing a holiday. You spoke then about it being pretty surreal. It's been fairly short, but have you had enough time to clear your head and get a rest?
Yeah, well, it's obviously been 3 weeks now or so since that moment, which, and as you say, the time goes very, very fast. But yeah, we've had enough time to reflect and enjoy what was an historic season last season, but also enough time to look forward to the new season. I suppose my difference is this being my first real sort of having had one season in Scotland and then having a short break. It feels as if it's the same season. You know, down in England you finish and then you maybe have 5 to 6 weeks off. You're straight back in, and then and then it feels like a new season. For us, the momentum and hasn't really been broken as such. The guys have had a deserved rest, and they've come back in. And I've got to say, just looking at the first few days, the level of which they're at, when I compare it to last season, it's day and night difference really. So that's what the season past has done. Big confidence. To find a way of working, and now the players will come back and meet the new challenges. I
do want to talk to you about pre-season and about the new challenges, but I don't want to just instantly forget about the achievement of last season. When seasons end, sometimes they do end very quickly. Everyone goes, the fans go, the players go, but it was such an achievement, and you did say at the time that it felt quite surreal being up there alongside the likes of Jock Stein and Martin O'Neill. Does it still feel surreal, or has it sunk in?
Yeah, it started to sink in a little bit more. I think that the achievement that we did last season was monumental. Really, it's so difficult when you actually look at the actual numbers behind having 47 games and winning 43 of those, only drawn 4. When you think we played Aberdeen 6 times, we played Rangers 6 times. Some of the other teams 4 times, to have gone through that whole period, having won 43 and only drawn 4, it's a remarkable achievement, no matter what era you're in. And of course, over many years, I think you see how difficult it is to do. So, but no, it was testament to the great work that went on throughout the whole club, from the players. You know, I had incredible support from my coaching staff here and auxiliary staff all around here. The great work that went on at Celtic Park with all the people there, and the club really became one. And alongside the supporters that are critical for Celtic, we all set the pathway to go forward. So yeah, it's a great feeling. I've got a sense it gave me immense pleasure, and being able to, as a supporters, come back and look back on it, created memories for a lifetime. So, but we look forward and hope we can create many more.
Obviously, as a Celtic supporter growing up, you know what those achievements mean to the supporters, but since that day at Hampden, in the 3 weeks that you've had, I know you got married, congratulations.
Thank you.
But have you had enough time have you met any supporters to really get a feel from those on the ground, what it meant to them?
Yeah, I bumped into a few. Not so many. I've been to Mallorca, and obviously in the airports and the flights out, I bumped into some, and obviously who are enjoying it. I've seen some images from Las Vegas which were interesting, and it looks like they were having a good time.
Interesting is one word to describe it.
Yeah, probably the best word. But yeah, as the manager and knowing what it means, the biggest thing I can give the supporters is the feeling, and I hope that the feeling that they got from last season was pride and great humility in the team, and going forward we want to continue with that, because it's still very early. We're building something here. That was a first season which was incredible, and we can only improve and get better as we go along.
The fans will love to hear that, because for them they think it can't get any better than that, but to hear you say we're building something, and that is a stage in the progress. Clearly you believe that there are greater achievements to be had.
Yeah, I think over the course of my time here, both on and off the field, we want to bring a real stability and a great strength to Celtic. Obviously on field is where it matters. That's where the club can grow from your success on the field, and I think we've seen that hopefully over the last season. So we have to keep investing in the team, both in the technical and tactical terms, and in terms of investment to keep improving the playing squad. But that's something that's been made very clear, and I've had great support since I've been here, that when the right players become available, and if they are available, then we will do everything we can to bring them in. But alongside that, I think there's still great growth in the players that we already have. You know, if I think of the development of a lot of the players this season, some of them are still young. You know, our average age of the team is 25. So that tells you that there's still a few years left of real good development within the squad itself. And now we have a defined way of playing, a defined way of working. The confidence and the quality of that can only increase.
Is that key to you? If you've got that average age of 25, that shows that you have got the experience that you can call on, but you've also got the element of youth coming through.
Yeah, it is balance. You need to have balance in your squad. You need to have the players with the experience, but also the players that still want to learn and are hungry to work. And but also I like the enjoyment as well of bringing through young players and developing those within our books here at Celtic. So we've got some exciting talents from the academy. We've got some players that are established sort of first team players that can still really improve, and then, like you say, we have really top senior players that are showing their experience and their qualities and still very hungry to achieve.
Just looking back on last season finally, it might be too simplistic a question, but was there a key turning point in that season that made you think this could be a very special season? There were some key games. There was games against Man City, where Celtic performed very well. There were games against Rangers, you know, big games. There was a key period in December. From your perspective, where were the key moments?
I suppose there was a number of key games from when we started. Qualification was important for us for the Champions League. I think that gave us a great base of which to build on through the season. So we were in European football at the top table, which was great, and where a club like Celtic wants to be. I think in terms of, there was a run of games early on in the season where we played the likes of Hearts away and Aberdeen at home and Rangers. So these could set a good benchmark for us. But I suppose if I was to pinpoint a game away from the Manchester City games and all that, I would say the League Cup final, because we'd come off the back of a loss, even though it was a creditable one, but we lost to Barcelona in the Champions League against an outstanding team and a club that's been dominating, you know, for the last decade or so. And we went into that, and it was then about showing the calmness and the quality to play in a cup final. On top of that, it was also about defining our style of football. It was having the belief that if we played that way, that we can win. And it was also a chance very early on for us as a group. We'd started the season really well in terms of our mentality. However, we needed something tangible to show for it. And I think that game gave a greater level of confidence to the players, even though they'd performed well up until that. And from that, then I felt that we continued to grow and grow, and then the season evolved how it did.
Before I touch on pre-season and then looking forward, in the last 3 weeks there's been no club football, but there has been international football. One game that stood out for all of us was the game at Hampden Park between Scotland and England, and Leigh Griffiths stepped up and scored two wonderful free kicks that we thought was going to give us a great 3 points, and then Harry Kane got that equaliser. Let's ignore the equaliser, let's concentrate on Leigh Griffiths' free kicks. When he was standing over those free kicks, did you think to yourself, he's going to score these?
Yeah, I had every confidence that he could. Firstly, before I mentioned that, before he'd even had the free kicks, I thought he was outstanding. That was my take on the game. As someone who wants to develop players, I'm looking at his all-round game, and I think that aside, firstly how he started the press at the top end of the field, it was very difficult at times for him because Scotland were slotted into 5-4-1 when they didn't have the ball, and at times the ball was coming forward, but he was putting Smalling and Cahill under real pressure. So I thought he pressed the game very, very well and with real intelligence in the game. Then with the ball, I thought his set-up play was exceptional. He didn't give away too many balls. His quality of his first touch was very good. So I thought his link-up play in terms of his overall game was very, very good. And then with Leigh Griffiths that whatever level he's playing at, that 25 yards in, he's as good as you'll see. He has this incredible knack of that, And it was funny because I bumped into Joe Hart when I was away on holiday, and he commented on the level of free kick. And Joe's faced many top-class players, but to do it in a game of that magnitude, the first one is Leigh all day. Got great swerve, great bend. He was close earlier on with a free kick. If you remember in the game, he hit it really well, and it just didn't come in enough. But to do it in quick succession, to get that composure, to not just do it on the goalkeeper's left, but to do it the right side. There were 2 goals that were worthy of winning the game. But no, it was unfortunate. Obviously conceded late on, but his performance and his 2 goals was exceptional.